All right, what's up, everybody? Back today with a video on this new rig I made up that I've been trying. It's a rig for summertime. It can be used any time of year, but I've noticed that it works better in the summer. And I say this because this is when I say summer, late June, July, August, into September, is because it's summertime. You got the thermocline, which is pretty much a layer of water where there's no oxygen. It gets so hot, there's no oxygen on a certain level of water. And what happens is a lot of times the blue cats, they suspend. They won't be in that water level. So a lot of cat fishermen this time of year that fish from the bank, even from the boat, they have a hard time catching fish because they're fishing on the bottom. But, there's nothing down there. All the catfish are above that thermocline level. They are 15 feet and up in the water column. So what you want to do is try to get your bait to be above the thermocline. So this rig I've made is a rig that pretty much gets your bait to, you could put your bait at any level in the water column you want. All right, by using the float and this rig I'm going to show you. And you can cast it from the bank just like you're casting a regular rig. So I'm gonna get into showing you how to do it. Here's some of the stuff that you need right here. Just, you can use any kind of hook, piece of line, barber, weight. I got some small swivels because I have small barber stoppers. That's a barber stopper. You can find those anywhere. You can get a barber stopper that comes with bigger beads than this. You can get them with the big orange beads. You can use bigger swivels because this bead stops this little swivel right here. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute, okay? All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is put the barber stopper on. This barber stopper, like I said, you can get this Academy, Walmart, Bass Pro Shops. This is determine how far up your bait's gonna go or how far up you want it to go. You can put it up 1 foot. This time of year I put mine at 15, 20 feet. That's how high up in the water column I want my bait to be. So you put it through the little black tube, you slide all the way up. All right, just for now, we'll just put it here. And these little ends, first you slide it off of this. You pull these ends together, like so. Then you cut the tag ends. Cut as short as you can. Like so. All right, cut the tag ends, and there you go. You got your barber stopper. It slides up and down. So right now we'll just put it here just for show. Then I'm gonna get the bead right here, little bead. And this is probably the hardest part. Sometimes depends on how small or big your bead is getting the line through that bead. All right, so now once you got the bead through the line, you see this bead stops at this barber stopper, right? And it stopped there, okay? Then you get your swivel, little swivel. Like I said, you can use bigger swivels, but your bead has to be bigger. I'll show you why. It's because that swivel will stop right there. See, it stops. If this was a bigger swivel, it'll go through this bead and over this, and then it'll go way up here. So look, it stops. That's the barber stopper. Now you slide this up, it goes farther up. All right. So right now we're gonna slide it back down. All right. Then you get a weight, tie it on there. All right, like so. So this is what we got so far. I'll pull it down some so we can see what we got. So right now, this is what we got. All right. Barber stopper, bead, swivel, and the weight. Simple. Just like that right there, okay? Then you take your piece of line. This seems like a good piece, good amount. You don't want it too long because it'll be flailing when you cast it. Then you tie that piece of line to that swivel. So that's what we got so far. Then the barber. Now I use a bigger barber because I use something bigger than this most of the time, is because I use big heads. So if you're using heads or chunks, you use a bigger barber, you want to make sure that barber can float that bait up. Now if you use fillets or something like that, or smaller baits, you can use a smaller barber. Just take this out. Don't really matter what type of barber it is either. You use any kind, no preference. You just got to make sure that your barber is floating your bait up though. Otherwise it's pointless to even use the rig. All right. Hook, any type of hook. This is just for this tying on. And bam, that's it. That quick and simple. All right, so this is what we got here. This is what it looks like. All right, so this is how you can cast it. When you cast it, it's just normal, like a regular Carolina rig, all right? But when you cast this rig and it hits the bottom, this barber is gonna float up in the water column, like so. So let's say we put this at 5-6 feet, right? Put this at 5-6 feet. When this gets to water, this is gonna float all the way up. We'll go it this way so you can see. We'll pretend like it's going up. This is gonna float all the way up, all the way up, all the way up until it hits that barber stopper, like so. All right. So let's say you want it only a foot off the bottom. When you cast it, the barber's gonna float up. Bam. It's gonna be like this in the water column. So if the more you pull this up, you can put it up 15 feet. This barber's gonna float 15 feet off the bottom, and it's gonna stop right here, and that bait's gonna be like that. This summer, I've caught 5 fish to 1 using this rig than just a regular Carolina rig on the bottom or on the bottom. Because those fish, usually this time of year, will not be on the bottom. They're gonna be above that thermocline. They're not gonna be in that water that has no oxygen. They're gonna be suspended. And blues like to be suspended anyway. So, I mean, it does seem like a lot of work, but it is, like I said, this rig is outfish all the other rigs in the summer from 5 to 1. I said, just slide it up, and guess what? It'll float all the way up. Bam. Your bait's up there just floating. All right? Now, only thing with this rig is when you cast and watch your rod, because sometimes when it's floated up, those fish will hit this, they'll hit it, and they'll go down, and it'll just slide. Or they'll go up and they'll slide. Even the slightest tip of your rod, when you're using this rig, you gotta go get your rod, because that fish can have it. He's swimming up and down the water column. All right? But that's the rig right here.